Hello, everyone. Welcome to Football Kentron. I am Adam, and I'm joined here by the usual suspects, Charents and Armen. And today we also have Tito on the call.
Woo!
Tito. So, for those of you who don't know Tito, he is very important to Football Kentron behind the scenes, and he is the guy who came up with our logo. He's the guy who helps us with all our imaging and digital type work. He's great at it, but he is also super knowledgeable in football as well. And I'll let him talk about himself a little bit more uh, in a little bit. But we're very happy to have Tito with us, and he is going to be joining us for this very, very special episode of Football Kentron. But first, before getting into our main topic of the day, let's start with some news. Henrik Mkhitaryan has continued his amazing season so far, and he's equaled his best season in 5 years since he left Borussia Dortmund, and we're only halfway through the season. He currently has 9 goals and 8 assists in Serie A, and he is kind of clawing closer to his best all-time season, which would be 2015-16 with Dortmund, where he got 11 goals and 15 assists and won the Bundesliga MVP. Still, Serie A season is far from being wrapped up, and if we're being honest, Henrik is the only reason why Roma are in the Scudetto talk so far this season. They did just lose to Juventus 2-0, despite having a dominant performance, but that just came down to Juve finishing their chances and Henrik not really getting the kind of support he needed. But hey, if he continues his form like this, which I really hope he does, maybe in March we might finally get some good Henrik. Armen?
Well, he's not the only Armenian national team star we're going to be talking about. First off, let us talk about the Bayramian brothers invasion. What is this? Because we knew Horem Bayramian. He is Rostov star player. He's a midfield, but all around. He can play fullback. And he took part in a friendly game in their team's defeat 2-0 against local rivals Krasnodar, who's also a big team with a big Armenian presence. Speaking of Armenian presence, tiny Levon Bayramian, Horem's brother, played for Krasnodar in the last 15 minutes. And it was a beautiful sight. We have pictures of them together in the team uniforms. Their parents must be so proud, and this is a new start for Levon. We wish him a great career. We got Charents with another big news about Armenian national team star.
Our Andre the Giant, Andre Chalisier, our star center back, just had his first big performance in the Greek Super League. His team Apollons Myrnis managed to draw 2-2 on their visit to mighty Tumba Stadium in Salonika against a tough PAOK. Andre played the whole game and also assisted his team's second goal.
Wow.
Yeah. We also speaking about Greek and Cyprus, we've got Ghazaryan, who recently moved from Aya Limassol to Greek Lamia. So another player in the Greek Super League.
Yeah, and Greek Super League is somewhere where hopefully we will see more Armenians. But another place where we're starting to finally see more Armenians is the Armenian Premier League. Alexander Karapetyan, we had discussed him in the last episode, made his move to Ararat Armenia official. He joined his fellow national team members Wabemar Angulo and Armenia's under-21 striker Armen Hovsepyan, both of which joined from Gandzasar Kapan. Alexander Karapetyan will hopefully help Ararat Armenia reach those slightly higher heights that they've been attempting to reach, and who knows, maybe he can help them finally reach their first ever European group stage. Another news. This was a very interesting one. Armen Hovsepyan, Armenian national team left back, joined Punic from Kazakhstan.
Arman, by the way.
Arman.
Not to be confused with Armen.
Armen.
We're going to be talking about both of them.
That's where it's going to get confusing. So
It's so confusing.
Arman joined Punic from Tobol in Kazakhstan, and now both Armenian national team left back options are competing for a starting spot in club and national team. Serop Grigoryan, who currently has the starting role for both, and on the right back side, they just signed Serop's BFF from Russia, Robert Darbinian, to compete for the spot with team leader Ali Karakelyan. So we're seeing a Punic team who had defensive instabilities suddenly bring in a lot of new defenders. Do you think they can turn their season around, guys?
I don't know if that's what they were aiming for rather than middle term kind of project, because maybe it's too late for them this time, but next season is going to be bomb for them. I mean, this is unprecedented in the Armenian Premier League, having so many class Armenian national team fullbacks or Armenian national team candidates in the fullback position for one team. They got, as you were saying, on the left back, they got Serop Grigoryan, who's born in Russia. And now they signed Arman Hovsepyan, who has had a great career so far abroad. And on the right back, they have Serup's BFF from Russia, Robert Darbinian, just signed to kind of breathe down Ali Karakelyan's back in like an inner competition kind of thing. And speaking of inner competition, we were talking about Ararat Armenia and their striker position now with Garabedian and like trying to get to be not so much of a substitute, Armen Hovsepyan. I mean, this kind of competition they got going on is going to be great for the Armenian Premier League.
Yeah, it is, and hopefully the league can start growing. And I know we've had issues that we've discussed, and that's been brought up in the media of the lack of Armenian players in these sort of top teams. So I mean, now Arada Armenia has two national team players, two national team starters, which are very likely to start for them as well. So hopefully that'll help.
By the way, talking about Punic, they also signed Hovannes Harutyunyan from Ararat Armenia, who is one of the best Armenian under-21 players. He's a midfielder, kind of has a sort of a Pirlo type of thingy going on for him when he plays, and he's going to be having a lot to prove in Punic. So it's going to be beautiful. I mean, stay like on the lookout for the Armenian Premier League because they got a lot to say. But we also have a lot to say about Armenian players in Europe. We have Edgar Babayan, who terminated surprisingly his contract with the Danish Hobro, and he actually bought himself out, which is a weird thing to do. And he's now free to sign for whoever team wants him bad enough, and has enough dough to pay the bills. Papers say it could be some German Bundesliga lower mid-table side, hopefully. Maybe also there have been rumors around, guys, about Danish giants Odense and Brøndby, I think they were, two big Danish sides. Also Russian teams from the Premier League. Who knows? He could go anywhere. But we have to go elsewhere. We have to go to Aram's beloved Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I love Kazakhstan.
What's going on in Kazakhstan now, Aram?
Well, as we're going to discuss this particular individual in depth shortly, but former Armenian national team manager Vardan Minasyan was appointed manager of Kazakh Premier League side Daraz. Very interesting. We're having more and more Armenians back in Kazakhstan. We've peaked at times where we've had more gone lower, but now Vardan Minasyan is going to be what I believe the second Armenian manager in the Kazakh Premier League.
Yep.
Who knows? Could turn out to be good for us next season. But again, the news just does not stop, right, Armen? We have our beloved vice captain Varazdat Haroyan as a free agent. So
my boy,
we know that he went to he left Ural. He went to Tambov in Russia, a lateral Russian Premier League move. We found out earlier this week that Tambov was having some financial difficulties.
Yeah.
And hence one of the reasons why Alexander Karapetyan had left.
Exactly.
So now Ghazaryan is apparently looking on the move. There are reports of Astana being interested in him, the team that Tigran Barseghian plays for, but they're also having some financial trouble. So I don't know if that'll be a smart move. Maybe he can go to Daraz and team back up with Vardan Minasyan, who he didn't play much under because he was very young at the time, but I'm sure that's enough to lure the captain in. But there are also Greek, Cypriot, and Russian sides in the discussion. So considering he just had a short-term stint again in the Russian Premier League after leaving Ural, where do you guys see him going?
Well,
I would say Europe.
Europe?
But
hopefully.
then, yeah, because they have the money to fund a player like that. But there's also the point that they wouldn't be willing to risk a player like that. I mean, he's got experience and can be a veteran, but it's not a long-term solution. So it depends. It could be like depends what league it is. So like a mid-table team maybe in Europe.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to Greece. I wouldn't be opposed to him going to Greece.
Yeah.
Better competition level.
That's what I was gonna say. Not long ago, right before his move to Tambov, he was even very close, like actually about to fly to Greece to sign for AEL in, I don't think, Larissa it is the city, and they're doing pretty bad in the Greek league right now. So maybe that's why they wanted Pato in the first place. And there were also Polish giants in the push for Vato a couple months ago. Maybe they could go again. I think they were Lechia Warsaw. Hopefully they can go for him again. I don't know.
I just hope he doesn't drop the competition level by that much, because the Russian Premier League we know is we have a complicated relationship with it as Armenians, but it is a good league. It's a good. I would rather have our defenders playing in Russia than in Kazakhstan or Cyprus. That's obviously. So hopefully he goes somewhere good. But again, this continued talk of our beloved Kazakhstan. It has been said that Tigran Barseghian is pushing for a move away from Kazakhstan. And we had just briefly mentioned Astana's financial problems, and a sale of Tigran Barseghian, the man who had the most assists in the UEFA Nations League, to people with big bank accounts like a Russian Premier League side who are set to be interested, could also be a win-win situation. It can help Tico play in a better league. He more form, better competition, plays better for Armenia. And simultaneously, Astana financial problems may get solved.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a win-win. And there was also, speaking about Greek offers and Greek interest in Armenian players, Barseghian actually was pretty close to signing for AEK Athens, which are one of the AEK. It's one of the biggest teams in Greece, and maybe they can go for another push again. Don't you think, Challenge, being a Greek speaker?
I think so. I think
you got the insight.
It's a good idea. I think it's a good competitive league. I mean, I could reference a recent transfer in relation to Ararat Armenia. Their goalkeeper Kupic, he recently moved to Olympiacos Nicosia, actually. So maybe there's some Armenian kind of bonding, I guess, that they're trying to find with some players. Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's competitive.
It would make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, establishing relations with Cyprus and Greece would make the best sense, and it would also be a win-win situation for everyone involved. Obviously, we want that. But
it's competition.
I don't know, man. Yeah. And speaking of competitions, we have actually pretty big news for Armenian football. which is actually Armenian futsal, isn't it?
Yep. So the being into futsal, in a futsal team, we have the qualifiers I would like to introduce to you all. Armenia, which is in a group with France, Russia, and Georgia. They played 2 games in the past 10 days or so. Unfortunately, they lost to Russia with 6-0 score. Unfortunately, I have to admit that.
Yeah, but they
Also,
lacked
there was
their
a game.
captain and star.
Yeah, they were missing a few key personnel in that match.
Yes, Saro Ghazaryan,
Well-
he's an actual Armenian futsal legend,
So
and he played the second game, right?
yeah, and they turned it around, right?
Well, somewhat.
Somewhat.
Armenia was actually winning the game, but they were leading halftime 3-1, I believe, or 4-1, and France actually drew the game later on, which is unfortunate. But we've got 2 more matches with against Georgia this month, so we're hoping for the best. I think it's a really nice thing to also do good in futsal as well, get a name for ourselves.
Yeah,
And this is the farthest
something
Armenia's
we can
ever
be-
gotten.
Yeah.
exactly. It's something we can be hopeful about.
Yeah.
And futsal is actually a really interesting way to look at football, because that's somewhat where they start from. Futsal is a very constrained kind of game, so you have to use your skills to get out of difficult situations. And the more the players get used to it, especially young players, the more there's a future for futsal or football.
Yeah, it has a quicker range, like a span of time to think. You have to think more quickly in futsal.
Constraints. Exactly.
It makes total sense.
Every second matters.
Yeah, so it's all about quick touches, quick movement, quick passing. It's something that in Brazil all the youth players play futsal. That's how they
Neymar, Coutinho.
That's how they train their first. Bro, I'm thinking before that, bro. I'm thinking Ronaldinho. I'm thinking.
Street football. Even if they play street football, they wouldn't play on a large size of a pitch. They would just play on the streets, and the streets are like futsal size. If you think about it, you could just make a small field and play.
Yeah, and for those wondering,
the surface.
Go ahead, Armin.
It's very important. Like street football, it's just like futsal because you don't play on grass, you play on concrete.
Yep, and so it's a different game. It's a much faster game. It's a very exciting game. And if you're wondering where you can watch these matches, all of them are live on YouTube. You can watch, just search up Armenia versus Georgia in sometime this month in February, and you'll see you can watch the game. But before we get into our next segment, we want to go ahead and formally introduce Tito, the other member of Football Kentron, who is finally getting a little bit of mic time.
Our newest player.
Yeah, our newest player,
addition.
Our newest signing. So Tito, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Hey, thanks. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to finally talk about Armenian football and give a good use about those hours that I spend watching lower tier of European football.
Games that nobody cares about except ourselves.
So that's it.
So you watch Kazakhstan?
No. I'm talking about our national team only.
Our national team, okay. Right, yeah. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Well, Tito is joining us today because we're gonna have a little debate. Ooh. So here's our debate. Our question.
Fight.
Which team is better? The 2012 Armenia team or the 2020 Armenia team? The teams are myself and Charens, who will be arguing for the 2012 team, and Armen and Tito, who will be arguing for the 2020 team. Here's the debate format, gentlemen.
It's not a boxing game. It's not a fight. I was just kidding.
5 points of contention: attack, midfield, defense plus goalkeeper, opposition faced, and management. We will start with section 1, attackers. Because I am introducing and hosting this, I will let Team 2020 begin this debate.
Ain't that sweet, Adam?
Always.
Speaking about attack, I mean, my main focus on the current Armenian national team attack would be pretty much the same. I'm gonna go over and over again when I'll be arguing on behalf of our current team, and it's mostly depth. Armenia has an unprecedented, insane amount of depth, of squad depth for what we were used to. Because if you think attackers, right? If you think strikers, the first man who may pop in your mind, who may come to mind, is probably Movsisyan. Okay, fair enough. Makes total perfect sense, especially since you all heard our latest podcast paying homage to him. So if you didn't, please don't disappoint us. But seriously, now we have a, even if not good enough, replacement in Alexander Karapetyan. He gets the job done. And what else do you expect? What else do you need from a striker if not goals? If
goals.
Not, exactly.
Goals.
If
More
not
goals.
Results.
More
Exactly.
goals.
More goals, yeah.
He got it. Oh, no. I just saw what you meant. No. That's not cool. That's not cool. I mean, he scores, and most importantly, he helps the team score. He brings the dough home. He pays the bills. He does what he has to do. And Alexander Karapetyan is a good starter, is a solid starter for the Armenian national team. But what Armenia brings to the table with this current squad, that, in my opinion, the previous one didn't at all, is depth. When Alexander Karapetyan is tired, he cannot play anymore. He cannot run, which it's not true. I mean, even if he's tired, he will run. He will give his 110%. That's one of his best qualities. But even then, if he doesn't click with the team, if he's being outsmarted by the opposition defense, you gotta replace him. And now I can totally and happily say that we have more than enough replacements, be it Balekyan, young, versatile, big in size, almost like Gara, but way faster, in a very similar model, but currently in pretty great form, even if not right now because he has to move from Hoffenheim. But we have Sako Adamian that has been tearing Bundesliga up for over a season now. And we got him, we got Sako Adamian, we got Balekyan, we got Tiko Parsekian, our Armenian Hulk. We got Edgar Babayan. Hopefully he'll be making a move soon. Prove me right. What else? We got plenty of options for the attack, and that's something we didn't have until now.
That's boom, counterpoint right here. You want to talk about options? The 2012 Armenian team had options. Movsisyan at striker.
Yeah.
At that time, he was in Randers and then Krasnodar in the Russian Premier League, and we know how well.
Yeah, the one and only.
The one and only. But then we also had a very, very, very talented Aras Ozbiliz on the wing who played for us.
Yeah, but he's not a striker, is he? He cannot play 9.
Well, but if we want to talk about nines, you have to mention Artur Sarkisov. You cannot go in this conversation.
Come on.
You cannot talk about the one player who would come off the bench and continuously score off the bench.
He was
I agree.
he was good.
Very
He was
reliable.
good at his best. He was good. Like
That
barely.
was his best.
That was his best.
Exactly.
So, but also, if we're talking about potential star power up top, we have Edgar Manucharyan. He was also
Probably.
very, very good in his time.
Yeah,
Edgar
a false
Manucharyan-
nine, a false nine, if anything.
and he played for Ajax as well during that time. And so we're
yeah.
starting.
Without us.
No, his talent is undoubted. That's not what what's in question here. But he either even he couldn't play like real nine, like
Well, we
Jura
didn't-
or
that's-
Tara or Sako.
But that's the thing. We had Euro. Euro was always fit. Euro was always healthy, and Euro was always banging in the goals. So if we're looking at a straight pound for pound center forward comparison between Alexander Karapetyan and Euro Movsisyan, the amount of, I would say, important goals Euro has scored are greater. I would say Euro's contribution generally to the team has been greater, and this is why. Euro comes back, helps defend, which is something that Hovsepyan didn't start doing until very late in the Nations League campaign. And 2, Euro Movsisyan is more of a team player than Alexander Karapetyan is. Karapetyan is the traditional center forward in the sense that he kind of just stands there and waits for the service, whereas Euro would drop down and help in the build-up play. And that's
To add to that,
your difference.
I would say like he's more reliable. Yura. Okay, Sarkisov can be, like 75, 100 level, but Yura, he's a starter anyway. So
Yeah, there was no match. I mean, it was always Jura. Sarkisov didn't even stand a chance. I mean, he wouldn't even stand a chance right now, and God knows he had chances. I mean, he was never summoned after we started getting all those younger alternative, all those younger models.
Look, all I'm going to say is Alexander Karapetyan is currently 33 years old, right? He's currently 33 years old.
33, yeah.
He has 6 goals for the Armenian national team, albeit in 19 appearances, which is a pretty good ratio. But Artur Sarkisov, who has not appeared for Armenia in years, is only 34, so 1 year older, has 6 goals as well. So they're tied on
In
goals.
how many games?
In 41 games, most of which were off the bench.
Oh, you forgot. You conveniently forgot that detail.
No. Most of, but he was never the starter though. He was always coming off the bench.
He wasn't, and he wouldn't be right now either.
Yeah, so I think if we're talking pound for pound actual center forwards, I would say the combination of Euro Movsisyan and Artur Sarkisov is better than Karapetyan and Sarkis Adamyan, despite Adamyan playing in a substantially better league than any of these players.
Definitely.
I would give you that.
Yeah.
But Adamyan has not performed for the national team, and everyone knows it.
I cannot agree with that, but Tito, what do you have to say?
I want to continue with what you were saying about the depth of team about the depth of Team 2020, and I'm talking not about comparing player with player, but talking about results. And one thing that I think everyone agree, is that we had a lot of adversity here this year. We have we dealt with injuries, with COVID, with a lot of issues,
and the elephant on the in the room.
And we managed to end being the first in first place. So I think that
having played only one game at home,
he got us there then.
Look. Okay, no. I have a fantastic counterpoint. I have a fantastic counterpoint to that. Tito, great point. But we were playing who? North Macedonia, Georgia, and Estonia, right?
But we were playing it there too.
But
But
I
prime
think that
Pandev. We had prime Pandev.
Look, you guys may have we had Macedonia, so I mean that's pretty even. Andorra, who you can equate to Estonia, but we had Slovakia, Republic
Prime
of
Pandev.
Ireland, Russia,
Prime
and a
Republic of
prime
Ireland.
and Slovakia, which at the time had Vladimir Weiss, had a young, really good Marek Hamšík, amazing team.
I would say though, the current Georgian team is does not have anything to envy from that Slovakia back then. I mean, we should never underestimate Georgia. I mean, what we achieved last season, and this is not just for this debate. This is like a proper congratulation for our team, because beating Georgia was no easy feat, and especially with them having like their egos touched after their humiliating loss against Macedonia. It was right after that. It was a team, actually, Armenia. We all know this, sadly. We're also familiar with this. Armenia is a national team that had been getting used to kind of choking its way out of easy wins, or getting, even not easy, but getting results that were there for the taken. And the Georgia game was definitely, in my opinion, as an Armenian and as an Armenian national team nut job, it was definitely hands down the biggest win we ever got in our history, for everything that comes with it.
Look, I can't deny that. I say the Nations League win is humongous. I would say that. But simultaneously,
Group winners.
You can be group winners in the UEFA Nations League where the competitions are even, but we're talking about playing at a higher level. We're talking about playing
like prime referees.
We're talking about playing a Slovakia that was very, very good at the time. We're talking about
Georgia's not too shabby, man.
Prime referee.
Georgia's not
shabby.
2-1.
I'm gonna say Georgia is not nearly as good as you make them sound. Georgia, I guarantee you, in this World Cup qualifier cycle, Georgia is going to be the ragdoll of their team. They are going to get smacked left, right, and center, because they're going to realize
Who are they playing, though?
that they can't score one, and they're going to rely too much on defense, and they're going to forget to attack. I guarantee you that Georgia's side is going to get steamrolled in World Cup qualifiers.
And Slovakia could score.
Slovakia can score, and you know what? You want to talk about a good draw? You're saying we had a draw against a very good Georgian side, but in March 26, 2011, Armenia had a home draw against Russia. That's a top 10 team. Very, very good top 10.
And we had a prime referee against us. I'm still gonna keep saying that.
Well, that's
a prime referee who gave a red.
That was the Ireland game. That's the game we all wish we could forget.
Oh, by the way, we also had a bad game. I believe it was around then, if I'm not mistaken, the one with the handball. I think it was against Macedonia 2-2.
No, the handball against Berezovsky, the fake handball.
No. There was another one. There was another one, handball or something. The penalty.
The one last year that they get.
No, last year.
No. It was a penalty or something.
Our one defeat last year. Our one defeat last year, mind you, guys, was against Macedonia. You all remember it, the UEFA Nations League opener in Skopje, where it was the weirdest game ever, because all three goals of the 2-0 defeat for us were scored by penalties. And I am firm in my belief still to this day that both of the penalties awarded against us, given to Macedonia, were not penalties, especially the first one at the 4th minute. Come on Vato Aroyan. It was never a penalty.
Well, you want to talk about not penalties?
By the way, another not penalty awarded to Georgia on Arman Hovsepyan. You all remember it in the 2-2 draw. That was not a penalty either.
2-1 win. That was the one Sako Adamian scored the winner.
Was it?
Win. Yep.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. It was good. Fair enough.
So here, we want to talk about unfairness, The match that Chadens is talking about was the 2-2 draw on September 7th in 2010. That was Armenia versus Macedonia. That was Euro qualifiers. Armenia had scored 91st minute. There was 2 minutes of stoppage time. 2 minutes. Edgar Manucharyan scores a goal, 91st minute. The referee plays 5 additional minutes and awards Macedonia a penalty in the 96th minute.
Yep, I remember this game.
For a handball that wasn't even a handball. So the ref played 4 minutes more than should have been played and gave a penalty that wasn't a penalty. If Armenia had gotten all 3 points there, it would have been a different story.
I understand about the additional time, but the handball was a very childish penalty. It was clear.
It was okay. It was a fair penalty apparently.
Yes,
I actually don't even remember it because I started. That was actually when I started following the Armenian national team. But unrelated to this, but related to the many incidents involving questionable penalties against Macedonia, against us for Macedonia, I actually even remember another one. I think it was 2017 or something like that, or 2018, awarded against Çalışır. It was an actual game we were dominating, and Çalışır's one of his first games for us, and I remember I was excited because we got like a Göteborg defender playing for us, a diasporan Armenian getting back to the roots and stuff, an actual center back which we were needing badly, and now we're recently seeing the fruits of it. And that was a game we were dominating. Macedonia got another unfair penalty for them, and that's when their game opened for them. They ended up beating us, but had it not been for that fake ass sorry, I'm getting carried away here. That's not who I am. That fake penalty got us cost us that game.
Okay, all right. Closing comments. Closing comments for the 2012 team here for attacks, because we got to move on to midfield. 5 out of the 10 matches that Armenia played in this Euro qualifiers, they scored more than 3 goals. Armenia had scored 22 goals and only conceded 10 with a plus 12 goal differential. Versus your team, how many goals did they score in the Nations League? How many goals?
7 goals in 6 games.
It was 9. It was 9 goals.
It was 9.
Okay. Even better. 9 goals. I didn't know that.
How many times did Armenia score more than 2 goals?
But how many times did Armenia had their full squad in Nations League?
0.
Well, you know
what? I know that one.
Well, you know what? To be fair, this Armenia side kept clean sheets too, but we'll get to defense. All right, closing comments on it.
Yeah, we will get to defense. You bet we will get to defense.
Okay, well, moving on. Attack. Done and dusted. I think we've talked that one to death. A side that I think is going to be a little difficult to discuss, the midfield. Tito, why don't you kick us off?
I want to say that me, as a South American, I believe that having a South American player on the midfield, it's a very important thing. And I don't know if you're going to like what I'm going to say, but you have to...
Say it.
Give me 2 minutes. I can't remember how to say it in English.
We got you, brother.
Ayúdame,
what are you trying to say?
Pegar patadas.
Oh yeah, we have to kick our way through. We have to like.
We have to have tough players.
Push your way through, basically.
Yeah, push your way.
No, we gotta
tough players.
We gotta stand our ground.
Okay, stand your ground.
Okay. In the middle of the park.
Who's saying it in a wrong way to go and injure the other guys?
Covertly, though. Covertly,
sure.
Like you didn't want to do it.
Well, look,
But what I
saying
think about the midfield, it's messy. I mean, it's gonna be messy because midfield is where Armenia has always excelled.
sure. But how about in?
I
But
mean,
you
We've
know,
got two players though. We've got two players in both teams. So we could
Uh-huh.
appreciate midfield actually.
We
We've got
can.
prime both though. Prime both.
and
One thing that
once,
the
yeah,
the 2012
You
one
go,
thing
you
the
go on.
2012 Armenian team didn't have to go to South America to pick up an Armenian. The 2012 Armenian team had
Didn't
Armenian
they?
midfielders.
didn't they
we have,
though?
we have a young
But
Henrik
they're
Mkhitaryan.
average.
We have a Karlen Mkhitaryan who played at Metalurg Donetsk at that time. Arthur and Artak Edigaryan.
Didn't we have
Yeah,
GG2?
but who was that national team's kind of number 10 playmaker?
Oh, well, number 10. I mean, we were talking about the one and only Marcos Pizzelli, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're talking
Should've
about
beat that guy.
We're talking about the guy who he only scores 45-yard bangers against Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a man who loved Armenia so much that he just said, "You know what? I'm Armenian."
Yeah, and we got Marangulo as well, and
Oh, okay. Well,
we got our South American sizzle too.
He's good. I actually like him. Well, I was telling Armen this off podcast. I really like Wabemar Angulo. I was watching their friendly against Zenit St. Petersburg, a la Armenia's, and I'm looking at him play and his awareness and everything around him. I'm saying this guy should be playing in a much better league than in Armenia, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, could be so. I mean, I still have to see more from him, but as for what I've been seeing, he's still got some distance to go for him. I mean, I like Salomon Udo a little better. I like of course Karlen Mkhitaryan from 2012. But who else? I mean, we got some great depth. We got the Lion Artak Grigorian on the 2020, the current side, who is actually
Artak wooden legs Grigoryan. the guy.
I love him. I call him the Lion. I mean,
He's always the guy who's always off balance.
Yeah, he's a lion. He's a lion. He fights his way through. I mean, that's the kind of player Tito was talking about, like a guy that is not afraid to go after any kind of ball, and it doesn't matter really who he's got in front of him. He's gonna fight him, and if he has the ball, he's gonna try to dribble past him, and he actually has had enough talent in him to score an actual beauty. You would have thought he was Brazilian against Montenegro a couple of years ago. He did this 1-2 with Hanoi. It was insane. I remember that this guy just scored this goal. I couldn't believe it. That's when I started liking this guy so much. Midfield, I mean, and we're talking defensive midfield, because if we go over offensive midfield, this is one of my main focuses about our current roster. We got some real depth. I mean, we got the 2012 national team was good. It was great, actually, especially in midfield. You got your Aras, you got your Marcos, Edgar Malakian, yeah. But the substitutes, the replacements, were probably not as good. Probably not, in my opinion, not as good as starters. And now we have the ones that could play striker as well as winger in Sako, Adamian, Tiko, Barseghian, Balekian, and Babayan as well, which didn't even play all that much those last two during last year because of injuries and whatnot. But we also have the rising stars. We have three amazing rising stars for us in Ashak Gorian, who already showed an insane level of personality. I mean, I kind of was a little hesitant on him because he was hesitant on the Armenian national team for a long, long time. But just how he engaged with the team, it was mind blowing. And getting the set pieces and stuff. We got Aram's favorite little boy in Vahan Mkhitaryan,
I love that guy.
who is
I love
little.
that guy. He's
He
still
is-
very young.
Yeah, he is little. He's young, but he's not afraid of taking like responsibility. Oh, exactly like Ghazaryan. And Vahan is even younger. Okay, but hang on. We have the hidden gem. We have Eric Batanyan, Barcelona Masia, Barcelona Youth
The
Academy.
guy who hasn't played a game in over a year. You're gonna throw
But
that
when
guy
he
in my
does,
face?
but when he does, you're gonna see.
He won't
when
even
he
get
does, you're gonna
near
see.
the squad. He won't
Also,
even get
we
near
have-
the Armenian squad.
What?
Guaranteed. He won't even get called up. That's what I think. I don't think he's gonna get called up.
No, give him some time. Give him enough time to play a few games in the Russian Premier League to be fit, healthy, and stuff. You're gonna see. Everyone is gonna see. But seriously though, we have our curly boy Khorem Bayramyan. He is a star. He's a Russian Premier League star, and Russian Premier League is the sixth best league in Europe. And Khorem is way underrated. So we got some depth we never had.
All right. Okay, sure. Well, we get it. We
Now
got
counter.
yeah.
Depth.
Yeah, so let's say now we're sitting in 19, let's say we're sitting in 2009.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, and you guys are the 2009, and we're doing the 1999 of Armenian team. You guys would say Mkhitaryan and Ghazaryan, these players would become very good players, just like you just mentioned about Goryan and Bichakyan. Well, now that we're in 2021, we could definitely say Mkhitaryan and Ghazaryan have become very good players. My point being, yes, you have future stars, but the 2012 team also had future stars, which now they're proof that they became future stars.
Yeah.
Haroyan, he was on the 2012 team.
Well, I still didn't add. Yeah, there's still more.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you leading?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the more like there are more players. Obviously, I just didn't mention them. But my point being that it's those who had future. Right now, we can see them that they have a future.
Look,
Yeah,
you could talk about future stars all you want, but what matters is the result in the present, right? And if our memory serves us correctly, Armenia is currently ranked 99th in the FIFA World Rankings, correct? Right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
okay, and because of the successes of the Armenia side that we are arguing for, Armenia went as high as 35th ranking in the world.
Yeah, I remember. But actually, today's rank, and this is undeniable, today's rank not only is not what we deserve currently, because we're playing way below, like we're playing way above what the rankings say. Not just that, but also our current ranking is a result of years and years of not just mismanagement, but actually lousy play. Like and even linking it to your 2012 side, since Yura retired in I don't know if it was 2015 or something. Since that time when Yura retired and the whole federation issues popped up and the accusations and whatnot, we had like a solid 4 years of lousy play, and that led to us being in a pretty stale place right now, and even having won the UEFA Nations League by far. So
Okay.
what we deserve is only coming. It's in the future. Trust me on
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of lousy play, we should move on to our next topic: defense plus goalkeeper.
that. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good.
That was a good
transition,
one.
Right? All right. Tito, defense goalkeeper 2020. Give us the best you got.
I think I can sum it up in just one phrase. How important is to have a solid goalkeeper? Not trying to minimize Berezovsky, but the job that Yurchenko has done is incredible.
Okay.
David.
Okay. In 2012, Roman Berezovsky was playing for Khimki in the Russian Premier League. So Roman was already pretty old at that time. He was already ancient, but he was also a very seasoned veteran goalkeeper. And in that 2012 Euro campaign, he only let in 10 goals, three of which were penalties. So in open play in 10 matches, he conceded
same as
less than 1 goal per game.
Yes, I was going to say the exact same thing. Half the goals that were against Armenia on Nations League were from penalties.
So. That's true.
I think we need to be fair,
actually, though. None of them were fair. I think we can all agree to this. None of those 3 penalties, none of them were fair.
And he saved that like a lot of times.
That's true. And if there was VAR, none of those penalties would have been given. But I can't say the same about the 2012 side. There were blatant penalties.
And another focus about the defense is mostly for the center backs. I mean,
yes.
we never. Ozbiliz was good. He was good. Props to him. Good career and stuff. But he was, for starters, he was never even close to what Vato Aroyan or Andre Chalishir can play, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
First off that, and Ozbiliz being the best center back of his generation. And also, it's 2 of them in better level than 1 in 2012. And if we're also going to the fullbacks, moving on to the wings, to the sides, we were actually talking about the depth Unique has in fullbacks, having Mkhitaryan, which is Caparro's favorite Armenian defender for some reason. And I'm actually very excited to see what he has in store for setup in the future. He's hyping him up. So there's him, and there's actually Armenian National Team left back starter Arman Hovsepyan. There's you got your Artur Danielian, who can also play center back. On the right,
he's never been called up though. He's Armenian
under 21
You can't use him. You can't use him. That's under 21. We're talking senior national team.
Give him time. He's a candidate.
Don't sneak that one in.
We're talking depth. I mean, he's a candidate.
Okay, you're talking. You could talk candidates all you want. I'll talk captain. I'll talk Sargis Hovsepyan, the Zenit St. Petersburg fullback, the man who has led this Armenia defense for like 15 plus years.
A shade years defense.
Yes, Sargis Hovsepyan.
But I love him though.
Before I'd say he can still outplay at his age half of our fullbacks easily.
Probably, yeah. But not the other half though. And he's the only one. I mean, he's the only 2012 Armenian national team candidates for fullback that could outplay anyone from our current candidates. I mean, and that's exactly what I was gonna get into. Depth. It's all about depth. I mean, you got actually we have a current leader in the making, Hovsepyan. He is a right back. He's pushing 30, and he could perfectly. I mean, he has in the past played center back as well. That's not just depth. We're also adding up to the mix versatility and defense. Artur Danielian could do that too. Jordi Ararat can do that too. And actually passing Hovsepyan in the future to center back is back to center back is Chalence's idea.
Well, Chadens, go ahead and sum up defense plus goalkeeper, and we can move on to the next round.
I think even though I'm on the 2012 side, I think both teams had good defense. The thing we can both agree on is the goalkeepers cannot be compared because both played a very major roles in both teams. Not because they're
And in
with
very
the same
similar
age.
levels too.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna get to that. It's not the age, but the level. The level they were both
Exactly.
at. It's the same, and not only the level, what they offered as a quality. It's this not the same, but in the same
Very
highest
similar.
form.
And
Yeah,
and you know,
in the same highest form.
Berezovsky is actually Yurchenko's mentor. You know that.
Yeah. Well,
So
there
yeah,
you go. What more do you need?
that's kind of yeah. And I want to continue with the managers as well now, which again I'm going to give a little balanced point. Vartan Minasyan, the biggest achievement personally, I think, was the highest ranking, giving the highest ranking for us as an Armenian national team.
Plus, he's Armenian too, so there's that.
Yeah, but we cannot really say much about Kaparos, but we can say much in 3 years' time because we know he's gonna do good. So his system is different. His system is definitely different. But the way he still has potential because he just recently joined.
Yeah, and he didn't even have friendly.
I think there's more to come. So we cannot really compare. Yeah, we cannot really compare them at this point. But with whatever they have both done as managers, yeah, we're both proud of them. I can say that.
Tito, what are your thoughts on managers?
I was going to say that I really like Vartan Minasyan. Was really excited when he came back in 2018. But I think that
kind of like the sequel.
It's not only comparing the managers, but the entire
system,
the federation, the system. I think that this federation is doing a great job, and Joaquin Caparrós is doing an excellent job. Him and his team, they are doing an excellent job. You can see it because they try to search not only in Armenia. That I think that was something at that time, that there were only players from the Armenian League and a couple of players from abroad, but not only that, of course the diaspora, all the new players that came, like Korean or Horen and
Yurchenko. Even Goldie Yurchenko. I mean, we all saw the presentation they gave the 7 newcomers last year.
Yeah, we don't get that. Why don't we get that?
that was beautiful, man. I mean, that was actually, it was even prior to the war, so we were on a different focus, our place in our lives, and that was a beautiful sign that Armenia was going forward and we were going on to bigger and better things.
That was something that we were expecting it like a lot of years ago. So we were really excited when we saw that it was happening.
Yeah, it's unprecedented.
Yes.
Look, regardless of what we say, we know that both of these Armenia teams were successful in their own rights. The 2012 Armenia team was groundbreaking because they put Armenia on the map for the first time in the footballing world. People were starting to take us seriously and not as minnows. And there was a dramatic dip in between that and the current 2020-2021 team we see now, which has seen a new director of football and a new manager.
Adam, that dip, you know that it, like many things in the football world and actually in any sport, that dip we had for years and years that affected us in our results had a lot to do with politics and how everyday life in Armenia was like. And we're just going back to a high after a pretty long low, and only 1.5 months left until the next set of games. So
Yeah.
a lot to look forward to.
A lot to look forward to. Guys, anyone want to give some closing thoughts?
I think
Well,
there's a lot of
I
potential.
want to know what the fans think, what the people think.
Everyone
All right,
jumped
all
in.
right, all right, one by one,
Yeah.
one by one. Let's start with Chadens. Closing thoughts.
There's a lot of potential. We had high caliber in 2012, but in terms of how the football has changed and developed, us tactically and as an organized national team, we're progressing very well, and we're hoping to see what's going to start in the next month, and I'm super excited for that. So that, yeah, I guess I could say that.
All right, Tito, closing thoughts.
I wanted to say that even though I picked Team 2020, I think that Armen said this before in this podcast. The 2012 team was the team that made me start to follow the Armenian national team. So that's something good about that team. Well, something.
Yeah.
It had a
They've
lot
had
of
a
many
social place.
good
things,
things.
but
Yeah.
All right, and Armen, closing thoughts.
I actually did my closing remarks earlier, but so I mean, any questions anyone might have about anything regarding Armenian football or not, reach out to us. We would love to talk to anyone, to connect with Armenians all over the world and stuff. So, and actually, I want to know what the people thinks about our current roster, and yeah, we want to know about you guys.
Yeah, so let us know. Don't be afraid. Tweet us at Football Kentron. Follow each one of our Twitter accounts. Our handles are in the description of the podcast episode below. And let us know what you think. Which team do you think was better? Which striker do you think was better? Which midfielder do you think was better? Let us know. Have a conversation with us.
Ones.
As you could tell, we love to talk about Armenian football. So don't be afraid to DM us. And a lot of people do already, but don't be afraid to do it. Tweet us. Talk to us.
It's not a fight. It's not a fight. It's not a tema to go over. It's something to bond over. So reach out.
Exactly. Well, that was a great debate, gentlemen. I don't know if we can comfortably say who won, but
Armenia
this
won.
was fun. Yeah, Armenia won. That's
Armenian
what's
national team won our hearts.
Exactly. So
Nice.
that's going to conclude this episode of Football Kentron. Join us in a couple of weeks' time where we are going to maybe talk about future stars again and start to look forward to the all-ominous World Cup qualifiers. Ooh. On behalf of Armen, Chadens, Tito, and myself, thank you for listening, guys. Until the next time. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
all right.